All right, let's jump right in. We're going to take a trip to Puri, India, to explore a temple that, well, it seems to play by its own rules. A place where the laws of physics, the ones we all know, kind of seem to bend. So, get this. First up, picture a flag, way up on top of this giant dome. And this flag, it always flutters in the opposite direction of the wind. I mean, the breeze is blowing in from the sea, but the flag is billowing out towards the sea. How does that even work? And, the weirdness doesn't stop there. What about the building itself? This absolutely massive temple tower. Well, people say it casts no shadow, like ever, at any time of day, from any angle. That should be impossible for an architect, right? But that's what everyone sees. And if that's not enough to get you hooked, imagine this. You're walking from the beach, right? You can hear the roar of the ocean waves loud and clear. But then, you take one step through the temple's main gate, and poof, the sound just vanishes. Complete silence from the sea, even though it's just a few feet away. So where are we? Well, welcome to the Jagannath Temple of Puri. This isn't just a temple. It's like a living museum of things that just don't make sense. Phenomena that have had scientists, believers, and tourists scratching their heads for centuries. And look, these aren't just myths or stories people tell once in a while. We're talking about things people see every single day. That flag, always going against the wind. The main dome's shadow, just not being there. The sound of the ocean, which cuts out the second you walk through the main gate. It's called the Singhadwara, or the Lion Gate. And maybe the wildest one of all? For centuries, people have noticed that no birds, not even airplanes, ever fly directly over the top of the temple. Now, speaking of that flag, every single day a priest climbs the 214-foot dome to change it. To put that in perspective, that's like climbing a 20-story building. And he does it with no modern safety gear, no ropes, no harness. It's an incredibly dangerous sacred ritual that's been done without a break for thousands of years. It just shows you how deep the tradition here really runs. So you have to wonder, right? Who are the deities at the center of all this reverence and mystery? To really get what this place is all about, we've got to look past the strange architecture and go right to its sacred heart. Okay, so the temple is dedicated to three main deities. You've got Lord Jagannath, who is a form of the god Vishnu. Then there's his big brother, Balabhadra, and their sister, Subhadra. But what's really striking is what they look like. Most Hindu idols are made of stone or metal, but these are carved from sacred neem wood. It gives them this really unique, powerful look, big round eyes, and you'll notice no real arms or legs. Now, because they're made of wood, the idols obviously don't last forever. And this leads to this really incredible ceremony called Navakalabhara. It literally means new body. It's this super complex, ancient ritual that happens every 8, 12, or sometimes 19 years. Basically, new idols are carved from special neem logs, and then this mysterious life force, they call it the Brahma Padartha, is transferred from the old idols to the new ones in a totally secret ceremony. So where did this unbelievable temple even come from? Its backstory is this really cool mix of myth and actual recorded history. So the legend says the temple was first dreamed up by a mythical king, King Indrayadumna, who was guided by a vision from the gods. That's the story. But when you look at the history books, we can trace the actual building we see today back to the 12th century. It was a massive project started by King Anantavarman Chodaganga Deva. It really shows you just how powerful and devoted he was. It's this deep history and spiritual weight that makes the Jagannath Temple one of the 4 most sacred pilgrimage sites for Hindus in India. It's called the Char Dham. Think of it like this. There's a holy site at each of the 4 corners of the country. And for a lot of devout Hindus, making a journey to all 4 is a major life goal. Puri here, this is the eastern point on that sacred map. And for a lot of people, their pilgrimage lines up with the temple's most spectacular event. I'm talking about a festival that literally brings these deities out into the streets for everyone to see. This is the Rath Yatra, also known as the Festival of Chariots, and the scale, it's just mind-blowing. These giant, towering chariots carrying the gods, they aren't moved by engines or anything like that. They're moved by the sheer will and power of thousands and thousands of people, all pulling on these huge, thick ropes. So the journey itself is this incredible parade. The three deities, Jagannath, Balabhadra, and Subhadra, they're brought out from the deepest part of the temple. Each one gets placed on its own massive chariot, and then the devotees pull them through the streets all the way to another temple nearby, which is said to be their aunt's house. I'm telling you, it's a colorful, chaotic, overwhelming sight. There's nothing else like it on Earth. All right, so we've looked at the history, we've met the deities, and we've seen the incredible festival. But let's go back to where we started, with all those mysteries that just don't have an easy explanation. You remember, right? The flag that blows the wrong way, the dome that doesn't cast a shadow, the sound of the ocean that just stops at the gate. Even after everything we've gone through, these things are still just as baffling. People debate them, but science has never really truly explained them. And hey, here's one last mystery for you. The temple has one of the biggest kitchens on the planet. Every day they cook sacred food called Mahaprasad for thousands of people using these ancient traditional methods. Now, the number of visitors changes every day. Sometimes it's thousands, sometimes tens of thousands. But here's the thing. They say there's always enough food for everyone, and not a single bit of it ever goes to waste. You see, the Jagannath Temple sits at this really fascinating crossroads between incredible architecture, deep devotion, and things we just can't explain. Are they miracles? Are they just weird natural quirks we haven't figured out yet? Or is it all about the power of thousands of people believing something together? Whatever the answer is, it makes you ask a pretty big question. In a place like this, where does science stop and faith take over?
Enjoyed this video? Please like, share it with a friend, and press the bell icon to never miss an update.